We often talk about upgrading your bikes here at GMBN, and you guys quite often ask us what are the best things to upgrade and put onto your bike. But does it add any performance to your bike, and is it actually worth it?
Of course it is, Doddy.
Really? Well, let's find out, shall we?
Okay, how about this, Doddy? If I upgrade all the parts of my bike, if I put a new wheel set, new carbon bars, new grips, change from 3x to 1x, it's definitely going to increase the value of my bike.
Not necessarily. It means you're spending money on that stuff and you're putting it onto your bike, but all of these things are going to depreciate and stuff. So you're not necessarily making your bike worth more money. It might be a better bike for those upgrades, but you've got to factor that in. You are still spending money. It's costing you money.
Of course, afterwards, it's definitely going to increase the value of my bike because I just add that price that I've paid for these carbon bars and put it on the price, I get my money back.
It's not that simple, Blake. You think about buying a car or buying a bike outright in the first place, the minute you wheel it out of that showroom, it's losing money. It's an item is going to be used, yeah, so it's going to depreciate. You're going to lose money on that stuff. It's not a bad thing because you want your bike to ride nice and look nice, but don't think by adding stuff to it, it's going to add value.
Maybe a little bit?
Potentially, but I don't know.
All right, Doddy. What about performance? Upgrading that's definitely going to make you ride harder, faster, be more aggressive. Definitely upgrading those parts are going to make you better.
To be honest, the only thing that's going to make you harder and better as a rider is practice. No amount of things are going to make you better. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you're going to spend loads of money on your bike and you'll be faster or jump higher. That doesn't happen. You've got to watch Blake's videos and Neil's videos to do that stuff. But you can technically make your bike a bit faster or ride a bit lighter. So you could say that's a performance upgrade. Lighter tyres or tyres that roll faster or that are more suitable for your terrain will help you find traction and roll a bit better. And lighter wheels are definitely an upgrade that can make your bike feel like it's going faster and you'll put less effort in to get that speed. I always say that light set of wheels can transform a bike. If you've got a fairly entry-level bike, say anything from 400 quid maybe up to £1,000. I know some people might not deem that as entry level, but if we just say that bracket, if you put some decent lightweight wheels on that bike will feel like it's like a £2,000 bike, straight out.
Yeah, and I've had some people say, I just need a brand new fork. Well, potentially you can just upgrade that fork that you have on your bike by getting it serviced or changing the internals into that fork makes it perform a lot better.
100%, I completely agree with you, Blake. I would advise anyone, instead of just spending money outright, to get your bike serviced. Get it in good condition, that is an upgrade straight out.
I think that's the bottom line.
You're supporting your bike shop by doing that anyway, or if you're able to do it yourself following our videos, that's great. But don't fall into a trap of thinking you're going to need to buy stuff. Like, you don't necessarily need that new suspension fork. Like Blake said, if you get it tuned, you get it serviced, it's all greased properly and working correctly, it's going to feel amazing.
Correct.
Basically, yeah. And you could, for example, you could upgrade to a coil, or it's not even an upgrade, you could change to a coil internal or an air internal if it's the other way around. You can do that on some forks.
Exactly.
Air shocks too.
So you get a new bike and you want to upgrade this, but over time, so you're going to be riding your brand new bike, and then over time you want to think about upgrading parts on your bike. Now, where do you start?
Well, I guess you could probably start, I would say, with the consumable parts, things that naturally wear out as you use them. It could be quite easy to see like an XTR derailleur, for example, on your mate's bike and be like, oh, I really want that on my bike. Yeah. Don't just do that. Wait until your existing derailleur is worn out. And then when you replace it, you upgrade that at the same time. Same goes for your chain, your cassette, all those things that wear out. Tyres, you don't necessarily need to replace them now, although you can get better performance by replacing them. You may as well wait till they're worn out, get some good use out of them.
Exactly, and also talk about tyres, you could actually get a little bit of weight out because that bike you've bought probably comes with inner tubes, so maybe convert to being tubeless.
100%, I agree with that. Inner tubes to me is backwards technology. I say to everyone, converting your bike to tubeless is great because you lose some rotating weight, which is great, which means your bike's going to feel lighter and roll faster, and it seals up little punctures on the go.
Exactly. And
that's a win-win.
Yeah, really. You could potentially do that straight away as soon as you get your bike. Yeah. But cockpit-wise, if you're not too keen on the width of the bars, changing the bars, it actually is not an upgrade as such, but an upgrade to body position on the bike, feel of the bike. Yeah. You can definitely upgrade your bike.
Yeah, like Blake said, that it's not an upgrade as such, unless you were, for example, going to a carbon bar from an alloy bar. It would be an upgrade, for example, if your aim was to try and lose weight off the bike. So carbon bar may be lighter, but it's not, again, it's not a performance thing, it's going to be a preference thing. So don't confuse those. It'll definitely make your bike feel nicer, if that's what you're looking for, but it won't make it better as such.
Over time, the best upgrade ever, what is it, Doddy? Because I agree with you on this one.
Okay, well, we've already covered wheels at the beginning of the video, but I think the most significant thing you can change on any mountain bike, if it hasn't already got one, to have performance, is a dropper post.
Exactly.
I reckon, and I still think we need to make a video on this, you could ride faster on a rigid bike with a dropper post than you could on a full suspension bike with a saddle fully up. I reckon there's a video there.
There's a video there for sure.
I mean, you're a bit out of control on the rigid bike, but getting a saddle out of the way could compensate, I think.
Exactly. Color coding. Now, I've seen this a lot out there in bike parks and trail centers. Color coding everything to your valve stems, all of those things, like orange, blue, green, everything. Now, I'm a sucker for this because I love green. For obvious reasons, my Nuke-Proof Mega is green. I've got these grips on there.
Jeff the Jeep.
My vehicle's green. My clothing's green. Everything. My watch strap.
Blake is bonkers about green, to be fair.
Yeah. That is an upgrade, but it's a personal upgrade. So when it comes to actually selling that bike at the end, someone would probably hate it, and you would probably won't sell it. It won't add any value.
That's a good shout, actually. Like doing the sort of the color coding thing is great, but it is your personal taste. So yeah, maybe. Bit cautious that if you do want to resell the bike at some point, don't go too crazy. Yeah,
maybe keep those old parts and then put them back on if they're...
I quite like a bit of colour coding now. Yeah. Again, I don't like to go too over the top, but here and there.
Talk about colour coding. Now, you've done a significant change to your bike.
Yeah, there's one or two little changes on there.
So the biggest change is now, is an upgrade, and it's going from air to coil.
Oh, but is that an upgrade?
We don't know.
Right, so I've basically, on my Nuke-Proof reactor, it came with Fox air shock on there, which I love. I'm a big fan. In fact, I'm probably a bigger fan of air shocks than I am of coil shocks. However, a lot of GMBN tech viewers have been asking about what are the differences, so I'm making a video at the moment, and I've just changed the shock on my bike. You could say it's an upgrade, but I don't think it is. It's a level, it's a preference thing. Yeah. But it has got an orange spring that looks really cool, and it does match in with the colours and the little orange valves. Yeah, if you're being like that.
Yeah, it's a very expensive route to go down if you were to do that, and you end up it's not the best thing for that bike, depending.
There's something that you won't have seen though. So that's not an upgrade, but it's a really interesting thing. I think we'll make a cool video and we'll figure it out if it rides better. But there's an upgrade you didn't see that is an upgrade. I've altered the fork travel. So there's an internal shaft on the fork you can change, basically. It's a fairly cheap component. I did it myself, and I've added 10mm to the travel of that bike. What? So it comes with different options, so it's compatible for the bike. Some of the models have a 150 fork, some have a 140, and I really like the way the 150 rode, so I've upgraded mine to a 150.
See? And that's an exciting point there, because a lot of viewers do ask, can I put a bigger fork on my bike? Now, that could potentially not be an upgrade in itself, maybe.
Yeah, you could ruin your bike, basically, yeah. If you're doing 10 or 20mm, on most bikes, you could probably get away with it, but you do change some of your angles, so you've got to be careful of that, because you can actually make things worse rather than better.
Downgrading it.
Oh, yeah, downgrading. Don't want to downgrade.
100% the coil's definitely better.
I'm not sure about that.
It's definitely better.
Honestly...
It's already
oh, hold on, are you still there? Oh, guys. Yeah, you should probably subscribe if you haven't done that already. See you later.
Coil's better.
It's not.